President Biden again warning a Russian invasion could be imminent, even as he leaves the door open for a diplomatic solution to the crisis. Secretary of State Antony Blinken meeting with his counterpart next week. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris meeting with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy at the Munich Security Conference today. She said that we are at, quote, a decisive moment in history. 15 Fox News coverage on all of this from Washington to Kyiv. Let's start with Mark Meredith, who's live in the North Lawn of the White House with the latest from there. Mark?
Eric, good afternoon. President Biden says U.S. intelligence believes that Russian President Vladimir Putin has already decided that he's going to invade Ukraine within a matter of days. It was a pretty bleak assessment that came from the president as well as his administration, given the ongoing talks in Europe about ways to avoid war.
We have reason to believe the Russian forces are planning to and intend to attack Ukraine in the coming week, in the coming days. We believe that they will target Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, a city of 2.8 million innocent people. Make no mistake, if Russia pursues its plans, it will be responsible for a catastrophic and needless war of choice.
In Munich, Germany, earlier today, Vice President Kamala Harris met face-to-face with Ukraine's president. In her remarks, the VP once again reaffirming America's commitment to Ukrainian sovereignty, and she says Russian aggression will not be tolerated by the U.S. and its allies.
Any threats to your country, we take seriously, and we have rallied our allies and our partners to speak with one voice, and those voices have been reflected throughout the course of these last couple of days and before.
But not long after that meeting broke up, we saw President Zelenskyy of Ukraine speak to an audience there in Germany, in which he said he was surprised that the U.S. and its allies were not imposing sanctions now against Russia, considering the behavior we've already seen, as well as the belief here in Washington and elsewhere that war may be only a few days away.
We are being told that you have several days and then the war will start. And I said, okay, then apply the sanctions today. Yes, they say, we apply sanctions when the war will happen. I'm saying, fine, but you are telling me that it's 100% that the war will start in a couple of days. Then what are you waiting for?
We heard from a White House official today who was not responding directly to Zelenskyy's comments right there, but insists that there is already a sweeping sanctions package ready to go and that there's already been a lot of action taken by the United States and its allies, including the massive military aid that has been deployed not only to Ukraine, but across Eastern Europe. Eric?
Yeah, meanwhile, Mark, up on Capitol Hill, Congress failed to agree on a bipartisan sanctions package. The Senate did agree on a resolution showing support for Ukraine. But, what does that mean? Vladimir Putin's going to sit there and say, Congress can't even agree.
Well, some lawmakers even said that they didn't believe that Russian President Putin would really make up his mind depending on what the U.S. Congress decided to do or not. But you do bring up a good point that when it comes to the timing of these sanctions, potential sanctions, there was some disagreement up on Capitol Hill. We did hear today from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She was also in Germany, and she says she believes that President Biden has the authority he needs to impose sanctions if it's so when he feels ready.
That the president has, by executive order, the authority to implement the sanctions. From what we have heard from our different meetings that I mentioned to you earlier, that there is a readiness on the part of NATO and the NATO countries to be very soon in this.
But there's still been a lot of debate in NATO countries, including just Italy yesterday, about what should and should not be included in those sanctions, specifically when it comes to Russian energy exports. Much of Europe depending on Russia when it comes to its energy supplies. We'll be looking to see if there's any more developments out of Munich tomorrow or if we hear any more from President Biden later on tonight. Eric?
Yeah, oil and gas would certainly hurt Putin. We'll see. Mark Meredith at the White House. Mark, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.